thanks to CEW for organizing this session, and thank to all the guests from the industry who are here to throw some light on whatever is happening in the industry, what are their personal achievements, and what may be the vision for the country to ensure a resilient supply chain. So, to start with, I would like to request Robin. Robin, give a short introduction about your company, what exactly you are doing. Then we can start with them. It will be an introduction for the audience.
All right. So firstly, thank you ICA and MEX for giving this opportunity to share my thoughts on the industry. I'm Robin Bunker, VP Strategy at Mefron Technologies. We are a young ODM company based out of Ahmedabad, and we are operating at the intersection of product design, embedded systems, firmware development, and next-gen electronics.
Right, great. So broadly, you are an EMS partner to many of the brands, right?
I would like to consider ourselves as an ODM rather than an EMS because we are capable of offering design services to our customers, which very few companies in India are currently capable of. We have over 200 plus design engineers in the company.
Great. So what are your plans to, like, there anything and everything is moving in and around ECMS scheme being launched by Ministry of Electronics. So this, how do you see this scheme? Do you have some say in this, since you are into manufacturing, you are not into components, and you have a design-led orientation? How do you see ECMS? Will it be of some use, and what will be its overall impact in value addition in India in electronic manufacturing?
Excellent question, sir. So post the success of PLI scheme for mobile phone, telecom, white goods, and some other categories, I think we are now at that critical juncture where we should develop a component ecosystem in the country. Unfortunate or fortunate, 95% of BOM for many of the devices still come from neighboring countries, and that sort of dependency is highly risky. We've noticed what happened during supply chain disruption during the COVID times. So I think ECMS scheme has come at a very apt time. It's high time that we have local sources for critical components, especially ICs. And I'm glad to see a tremendous response from the industry. Going by Honorable Minister's statements, we've already seen large participation from MSMEs in the ECMS scheme. Coming to us, we've closely analyzed the scheme. We've studied it, sought some external help, and also ICAs. We figured that the current stage of growth enables us to participate in multi-layer PCB as well as electromechanicals, because for our size, I think the budgetary constraints do not limit us there. I think some of the other segments, the investment required is quite high, but we felt that we can do something in multi-layer PCBs and electromechanicals, which includes connectors, relays, switches, and we are going ahead with the application. I think this next week is the last week before the window closes. The rationale of choosing multi-layer PCBs is that we can use many of these PCBAs for our own captive consumption. We also felt that given a robust automotive ecosystem in the country, there is still huge demand for 4 to 6 layer PCBs, and it would make commercial sense, economic sense to venture into PCB manufacturing. Although there is an inherent risk in participating in this scheme, because you have to invest close to 40-45 CR upfront, but we are willing to bet on the Indian electronics ecosystem, that the inherent demand in the country,
Right. Great. So it is great to hear that the companies, the EMS OEMs are also considering to enter into component manufacturing. And this is the way I believe the Indian electronic industry will evolve over time. So uh, Ramchandar is from Xiaomi. So everyone knows that Xiaomi is into mobile phone manufacturing and all that. But very few know that they are also into consumer small appliances and consumer electronics domain. So Ramchandar, just a short brief about what exactly your line items are other than mobile phone, and then I will ask a question which is more related to Ashish sir and will impact you in whatever we will discuss that. So
Sure.
other than mobile phone.
Mhm. Yes. So about 3 years ago, about once the COVID began to become the new normal, uh, the Xiaomi team decided that we will come up with a single line that will capture our past strength and the future imagination. So we came up with this strategy called human times car times home, which essentially means is anything that you use on your body, from cell phone to tablet to laptop to a wearable to a hearable, your smartwatch, all of them will be human. And anytime anything that will take you out of the home, which is essentially a EV car, is a car, and anything in between your home and office, like small appliances to an air conditioner to a television, is home, whether it is home or work, whatever it is.
Right.
So we operate in this human times car times home model. In that, we have about 400 SKUs, which are a combination of large and small appliances. So some of them are such a delight to use, something as amazing as a robo vacuum cleaner to a garment steamer to some of them are very high utility items apart from the large appliances that we're talking about. So this is what we have been doing, and I'm sure, unless we are all living under a rock, our excellence in electrical vehicles.
Great, great.
Yeah.
So one more question, back to back. That what are your plans like? You're manufacturing, you're dealing in with it, but what amount of these items are getting manufactured in India by Xiaomi, and what are your plans to ensure and strengthen a domestic supply chain for your right from mobile to all these items? Any plans to localize the supply chain?
Yes. So I think the next year, which is 2015, 2016, I mean, 2026, 25, 26, we will have finished 10 years of making in India. We were one of the first smartphones to be made in India. It was launched by Honorable Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Chandrababu Naidu Garu, in presence of the Honorable Prime Minister. So we will have finished a decade of making in India. I think from the beginning, it has been our conviction and commitment towards India, because Xiaomi has a very, to Xiaomi board, especially our founder, India has a very special place because we were the first international market outside of China. So we will continue to make in India as much as we can without impacting the quality of the final outcomes. But we are definitely committed to be making more and more in India and to be pushing the supply chain and the local teams to become globally competitive rather than just become be viable.
Right. So with this, I will directly come to Dr. Ashish. It's a relevant piece. It is connected. Sir, second question first. It is like you are coming up with one QCO. It was already implemented. Then you were kind enough to give extension on small appliances. How do you see what will be its impact? Means many companies mentions that this will drastically. This is working. So this may adversely impact initially, but will create a domestic supply chain, domestic manufacturing facility. Xiaomi is also into these type of line items. What is your say in this? Like, it is too much stringent in nature, or it is a thoughtful step? What was the context behind setting up this scheme?
Uh, Thank you very much, first of all, for inviting us for this panel
Thanks
discussion.
for coming, in fact.
And as regards to the QCO on the safety of electrical appliances, that's an horizontal QCO which includes all sort of electrical appliances. And it is a very novel initiative by the government to create quality ecosystem in India. What is happening that most of these home appliances or electrical appliances as on date are imported left and right. We have to create our own manufacturing capability. Unless and until you give certain level of protection or motivation, it's all means in our parlance, whether it's a protection or whether it's a motivation, it's all in the same. You cannot get investments in this sector. This I will just correlate with, we also have a PLI scheme on white goods. If you see what was the status before 2021, we were just importing all our air conditioners and LED lights. And in 2021-22, we introduced PLI scheme on white goods only for the components, not at the finished good level. So that created a total manufacturing ecosystem for air conditioners and LED lights. At that point of time, our total value addition was, we were just assembly based. Whatever manufacturing was in India for air conditioners and the LED lights were just assembly of imported components. And now, and the level was around 18 to 20% of value addition. Now we are at the mid of scheme, and we have reached 50 to 55% of value addition. And by the end of the scheme, we expect that the value addition will go up to 80 to 85%. So if you see, take any component, whether it's a compressor, whether it's a controller, everything were imported. And now all these components are being manufactured by our companies, and it is a good mix of foreign company and domestic company in India. And we are looking forward for a very good manufacturing ecosystem for air conditioners and LED lights. And it's nice to see that Ministry of Electronics had brought in that another PLI scheme for the components of the electronic components. Yeah. So that will complement each other. And so far, small appliances, particularly from the QCO point of view, QCO is not deterrent. It is one way, it is creating quality ecosystem in the country, and it also is stopping substandard imports from the foreign countries. And that gives a motivation to our domestic investors to put up the factory in India. So in all the electric small appliances, I will say, there are electronic components is the major part of it, of bill of material, and other electrical components will supplement it. So we are also looking forward for a in future. That's why we have requested Xiaomi to come up with a good proposal for components of electrical equipment in India. So all these policy support will, to my perception, will gel well to create a manufacturing ecosystem in India. Thank you.
Great, sir. So broadly, my takeaway is that DPIIT is all set, all open to listen to more items, means more schemes to be incentivizing the value chain items and small appliances and all that.
Yeah, we should be ready with the proposal.
Right.
Whenever government asks for such a proposal, we will submit it.
Right. So going back to the PLI scheme, I remember, just for the information of the audience, it was 2021 when COVID lockdown was there. I remember I was in the industry, this industry only, and Dr. Ashish Kumar used to organize calls for industry deliberation in the morning, in the noon, in the evening, just to have a specific input of what can be manufactured, how much it can be manufactured, what should be the capital turnover, capital output ratio. So that was a very thoughtful scheme, and he was the craftsman and draftman of that scheme.
Thank you.
So we believe he's like very open for to listen to the industry, and this is great. This may be the headline: the DPIIT is open to listen to come up with more scheme for more items. Thank you, sir. So one question regarding PLI scheme for ACs and LED lights. There is a lot of discussion regarding ACs value chain items. So there are figures you publish that. What about the LED lights? What you see, how much the success DPIIT or industry or nation as a whole has achieved? Whether industry has really gotten any benefit for LED lights? What is the overall performance for LED light vertical?
Even LED lights is doing well, but there is a we have to understand that we do not manufacture semiconductor here. So those components and those ICs and those they require huge investment. So simultaneous the schemes are coming up for those for the semiconductor mission is there. So we look forward for those schemes to fructify. But other parts, I will say that in terms of bill of material, we have included almost 90% of the component in our PLI scheme, but only 40% component are being manufactured from the bill of material perspective under this PLI scheme. Okay, and there we have done good progress. So with the limitation of the scheme, because our scheme was just 6,000 crore, 6,238 crore, and the amount of investment required for the semiconductors and other major, it's a huge. So definitely we were aware that it may not be possible here, but other components are being manufactured in India now.
Under the scheme.
Under the scheme.
Great. Thank you, sir. So the next question to Dr. Morgana. So 3M is a specialized company, and the background is you must have heard about various product lines, but 3M is into material manufacturing. So material is the core which goes into components, which goes into products, items, very specialized, very high-tech domain. And we appreciate that. There are very few companies who are into materials. How do you see what is the scope of material manufacturing in India? How regarding the market and the vision 2030 and all that?
Yeah, so just complementing what you are saying, right? 3M, we say that you cannot be more than 10 feet away of any 3M products because we have Scotch Brite, we have Post-it, we have masking tapes. Now our cars also have coating.
Or signage,
right? Yes,
on
all
the
signage
on the roads,
So,
that
yes,
particular
so
tapes and all that.
3M is a very well-known global brand. But in India, we have been here since 1987.
Great.
And we were incorporated in 87 and listed in India in 91. So we have been in India for a very long time. We have 3 factories in India, in Bangalore, Ahmedabad, and Ranjangaon. More than 1,200 employees in India. So 3M certainly sees India as a very key and important market. And more specifically for the electronics industry, we have a series of products that can be used for electronics assembly, from consumer electronics, automotive electronics, aerospace and defense, um, data centers, industrial automation, semiconductors, right? So we are everything that we see as the global trends coming into India. The government is aligning very well with supporting those market trends. So really, India is, I would say, unlimited opportunities right now in the electronics industry.
Great, great. So India, you're very positive about the
Oh yes,
India operations of 3M.
absolutely, absolutely. And we also see, I think all of us in India, right? We dream to making India for the world, right? This is our dream.
Great.
And we, especially from 3M, we are looking at very closely collaborating for customers. We like to develop technical relationships, right? Investing, bringing the knowledge that we have from our global experts into India so we can develop here also our people.
Right. So broadly means everything is very positive. Any challenge you would like to highlight, and what type
Uh,
of policy framework will it take to
yes.
exponentially expand 3M manufacturing
Mhm.
operations in
I,
India?
I think the government has started addressing some of those challenges. I would say that because I'm a material scientist, I have been working with materials for over 30 years and 14 years only in the electronics industry. So there are all ranges of quality on the materials that we can use, right? And understanding and recognizing that having high quality materials, it's very important for developing our own India brand, our Make in India, right? A brand, made in India, make in India brand. That is very important. And I think this, overcoming this challenge of looking into performance over other other things is going to really help us in to accelerate the growth.
So I believe the if your mobile phone is waterproof, thanks to 3M, the tapes, the adhesive, the material goes into it. It supports almost everything.
Right. So, coming back to Ramchandran first, like it is often it's an apprehension in the industry that companies or brands are always show that there is a lack of skilled manpower in the country. The initiatives with respect to skilling are not sufficient. There are too many articles. Have something to create a skilling framework at least for their products in the country? Or if not, what are your plans for that? Yes. So at Xiaomi, we have a global framework for skilling because we not only make in India, but also we do so in Indonesia, we do so in Vietnam, we do so in parts of the world, especially in China. And our literally the top line and the bottom line depends on the skill, otherwise other factors being the same. So we take skills very, very seriously and from both the ends. So let us say when we talk of skills, most often we in our pen, we might be thinking of somebody at the shop floor. We just don't want to limit ourselves to shop floor. So even in shop floor, there are multiple levels. I think one of Foxconn was one of the first companies that we partnered with in Andhra, Sri City, and then later in BYD, where we said we will start us at level one, and then we have a global skilling framework that we follow at Xiaomi, and we will rank them. This is like Sri Chaitanya ranking. Right? We rank them in their skills and their progress across all the factors, just not in in Sri Perambatoor versus Noida. It's not. So that creates not only global competitiveness, but also the global benchmarking without even without we even realizing that. So that's the first thing. So we start off with skills in the shop floor and then go to supervisor level, then go to debugging. Right? For example, if there is a problem, we will neighbor. That's also what I'm still doing. Not only impart but also impose on some of our partners because that is essential to manufacture their skill. The second thing that we did very seriously is I think we were one of the few players to identify repairability, even on the service and the operation side, right? We also train many uh, between age 16 to 21. Many of them not just in the cities, but also in the tier 3 and tier 4 places about how to repair a phone. I'm not saying they will be able to repair it fully, but we have a very strong book skill book that we hold the standards up to these people in even in the service centers. So that is what we very consciously do on both the ends. Once the phone is made, the pre and the post. And in case there is something that can be debugged, or in case it can be refurbished, we make sure that the local talent is able to do it. And this is not for some altruism. I don't believe in altruism. This is the business, right? It is logistically and economically more efficient to skill these people in these tier 3 and tier 4 cities. And we also fundamentally believe that India has left marks as there. Just like that's our experience. India is very similar to that of our experience in China, Indonesia, Vietnam, and so are the likes of them. So that is something that we do very, very consciously. We might not put a skill logo, but that is part of an interview protocol. But we would like to partner with more and more government departments and see if we can take this even more or do this faster, or if there is some affirmative action that we need to take, we are very, very open to working with the government, just not in the central level, but also at the state and the district levels.
So you're doing great deeds in terms of skilling the manpower, even tier 2, tier 3 cities. I believe what all is missing is the marketing of this initiative. You need to tell more about that, whatever you are doing, maybe some op-eds or whatever. But this is appreciable, highly appreciable. Robin, your turn, please. Normally, it is observed that OEMs oblique EMS companies do not want to launch their own brand. This is a larger perception. What is your say? In any case, in the near future, do you think Mefron may float some brand in and around any of the electronic item or the product capacity, product items wherein you have manufacturing capacities? What is the possibility?
I know it's a cricketing season, sir, and the questions we discussed yesterday
It's out of syllabus.
totally out of syllabus. So, but thankfully, I may have answered your question, and I think uh, it'll be morally or ethically incorrect to venture into brands as an EMS, and we are quite clear from the start that we'll be a pure EMS company, sticking to our lane, uh, offering contract manufacturing services, maintaining the integrity of a buyer-seller relationship, uh, because we don't want to lose trust of our customers by developing our own brand. So we're quite clear. Uh, However, uh, we are working on developing off-the-shelf products. We have identified a few categories, especially grooming, personal care, uh, and surveillance, where we are developing white label products, which some of our brands and OEMs can stick their label on. So there is work happening on that front, and I think we would want to keep it that way.
Great. This vision is clear. What to do, where to do, up to what level you have to do, and what not to do. Things are clear. That's great. So, great. So, coming back to Dr. Ashish Kumar, sir, again coming back to QCO. So, QCO, what is your say? Means what exactly its impact on MSMEs and what should they do? What type of do they have some exemptions? What is the route for them to get benefited or not get adversely benefited from QCOs, especially for MSMEs?
Thank you for the question. Well, the impact to the MSMEs, I will say that this is a very burning question these days. And in order to evaluate, to assess what is the impact, a few days back, our Honorable Minister took a meeting with the MSMEs. And contrary to the representations we had received that the MSMEs are affected negatively, very badly, they are not able to work. During the meeting, none of the industry associations complained distinctly that MSME is getting harmed. Majority of the people who were present, their reflection was, yes, initially they found it difficult, but once they have started implementing it, they found that it is for their own benefit. I'm just giving an example of, say, cabinet hinges. It's a very small investment. Most of the companies are in the MSMEs. There's only one large company, Hetig from Germany, which has entered in Indian market, and the rest of them entirely it is an MSME. Now they themselves came to the conclusion and presented to the Honorable Minister that this QCO has benefited them, and due to this QCO, imports have gone down and they are motivated to put up their factory, and the foreign brands who were either importing it from the other countries or they are bringing their own product to India, now they are sourcing their products from India, from those manufacturers, because now every domestic manufacturer is manufacturing as a standard. So now people are getting the standard product, and the foreign companies operating in India, they are sourcing it from India. So this type of culture. Initially, it is perception. We have given sufficient flexibilities to MSMEs, even for just for example, we know that in the MSME there is relatively lack of financial capability and managerial capability to get the BIS license to, as well as the technological capability, I'll say. So we have given additional time for 3 months to small industry, additional 6 months time to the micro industries. And wherever we have found that there are still very micro units operating in the sector, say gray iron castings, say laboratory equipment, that beakers and pipettes and like that, where it is they are manufacturing it, putting a furnace in their home, and they are doing the job. So what we have done, that we have exempted micro units having investments up to 25 lakhs and a turnover up to 2 crore.
per year. So,
Please DI लेके आने
in leather and footwear sector, we have exempted entire micro and small sector from the QCO.
Great.
There are so many from the BIS, from the BIS perspective, they have also introduced so many flexibilities. They have reduced the marking fee for MSME, like it is the 80% concessions. For micro, for small it is 50%. For ladies, it is additional 10%. So there are so many schemes coming up, so many flexibilities being introduced, so that MSMEs can cope up with the situation. Testing is another major issue. So for the
I was coming to that question.
yes.
Yes.
So the micro units and the small units, they have been exempted to have the test facilities in-house. They can get it done from any recognized test labs. Even though the big industries who have their own test labs, they are also being empowered to test the samples of the micro and small units. So a lot of flexibilities are being introduced to encourage MSMEs to cope up with the issues, the concerns, with the difficulties faced in the implementation of QCOs.
Thank you.
Great, sir. Thank you. So we are extending out of time. So one last question from Dr. Margana. Ma'am, you can take this. So basically, there is a huge market. India's material manufacturing market is bound to grow. That is second thing. Third, I would like to know that how the policy framework supports material manufacturing, or there are some gaps. Any policy framework which is not means which may be adversely impacting, or which is not neutral to this but not encouraging. So I know less about this industry. So my point is whether it has due differential duty structure, or what is the scenario with respect to that.
So there is no specific policy, right, for materials suppliers. But since we are so integrated in the electronics industry, the requirements for the electronics industry, they will somehow affect, right, manufacturing of materials. And like I mentioned earlier, I believe these policies are in the right direction for us. It's important to think also about how we like to see India in the future, how we like to be recognized, right? I have this example that even in my own house, if I'm going to buy a consumer electronics product, I search for something that's made in India, because
Great.
I
We
already
need a round of applause for this.
yes, because we are slowly recognizing that made in India is better than in some other countries, right? In many other countries, actually. So I think that frame of mind is building up, supported by all government policies. I wouldn't say that we have it all that it takes, but I'm sure that the government is going to continue coming up with policies, additional policies to support. So even global companies like 3M can bring more and more capabilities into India to
Right.
support the
Great.
industry.
Great. Thank you. So with this, we would like to conclude this session. Maybe one question from the audience, if there is any.
It has been quite fascinating hearing to the eminent panelists. My question to Dr. Ashish Kumar, while we heard that in addition to strengthening our domestic production, we also want to create global footprints. However, for the audience, I'm Ravishankar Chaudhary, Secretary General CIAMA, Consumer Electronics Appliances Manufacturers Association. So while we ask our members that are they in the condition to export or enhance their export, so broadly their response comes is that the domestic demand itself is so high that we are basically many a times struggling to fulfill that. So it's something that we should be happy about it, because it is due to the increasing purchasing power of consumers, Indian consumers, enhanced lifestyle, their aspirations. So is this the situation wherein we should be happy that manufacturing is enhancing and it's towards meeting the domestic demand, or we should basically we need guidance from you that we should be telling our members that they should dedicate some of their product lines for exports, which might require some different treatment, different kind of setup.
Thank you for the question. It is a very thought-provoking question, I will say. And look, industrialization is a process. Once you start manufacturing for the domestic market and create the technological capability in the product and process, down the line, you themselves get your level up where you are able to get the export orders. Because domestic market, that as on date, yes, our market is increasing. We have say 10 to 15% of growth rate. But down the line, as the size grows up, your growth rate will go down, and definitely you will have to look forward for the export market. It's a both the things go simultaneous. By that time, you will also be geared up to manufacture your product of the export quality. And those who are putting this as their strategy that yes, we will export certain percentage, they will be successful more. We know within our AC and LED lights companies, there are companies and who are putting up their factory not for the domestic market but to serve the global market. So it's not that all the factories are just for the domestic market. It is inbuilt, it is an organic growth of the industry, and in our perception, if industry has to grow, industry will themselves look forward to capture the export market. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. With that, we can finalize the session. So we are okay. Thanks for all the panelists.
Sure. Thank you so much to all our esteemed speakers for those insights in global supply chains, policy frameworks, and India's expanding influence. Let's now facilitate our speakers for their thoughtful perspectives. I would request Mr. Vaibhav Sharma to felicitate our dignitaries. Thank you so much. Dr. Ashish Kumarji, Senior Advisor, DPIIT. Dr. Robin Bunkar, Vice President, Strategy, Partnership, Mefron. Mr. Ramachander Poodipeddi, Director, Xiaomi Technology, India. Dr. Murgana Ribas, Senior General Manager, R&D 3M. And the very, very important Dr. Ashish Sarakia ji, Director, Public Policy, ICEA. Thank you so much, everybody, for adding such value to today's discourse.